The rain had begun its steady drumbeat on the roof of the carriage house long before Detective Samuel Grant arrived in the village of Windmere. The night was grey, the fog heavy, and the cobblestones gleamed under the lantern light. Samuel pulled his coat tighter around himself as the smell of wet earth and old leaves filled the air. He had been summoned urgently, the telegram terse, "Come at once." Disappearance at Hawthorne House. Urgent and inexplicable. Inspector Reed. Samuel knew Hawthorne House well. It loomed on the edge of Windmere, half hidden by tall elms and an air of old secrets. The family who owned it, the Harwoods, had always been whispered about in the village. Whispers of feuds, locked rooms, and strange cries in the night were as common as the wind that blew off the moors. Samuel had met the Harwoods once, years ago, at a gathering in the city. But he remembered the daughter most vividly, Clara Harwood. She was striking, with intelligent eyes, a reserved smile, and a presence that seemed both magnetic and guarded. And now Clara was the one who had vanished. Inspector Reed met Samuel at the front gates. His face was drawn, his mustache damp from the rain, his hands clenched around a lantern. "Grant, thank God you came," Reed said, his voice low. "What's the situation?" Samuel asked, his boots crunching on gravel as they walked toward the looming silhouette of Hawthorne House. "Clara Harwood was last seen yesterday evening in her study," Reed explained. "By morning, she was gone. Doors locked from within. Windows sealed. No sign of struggle." Samuel frowned. "A locked room disappearance, then." "Exactly. And the family is uneasy. Each has their own story, and none seem to fit." Samuel looked up at the vast mansion, its gables cutting into the mist, its windows like watching eyes. He felt the familiar stir of curiosity and dread. Inside, the house smelled faintly of polished wood, candle smoke, and something metallic, like old iron. The grand hall was lined with portraits, stern Harwood ancestors glaring down. Mrs. Evelyn Harwood, Clara's stepmother, descended the staircase as Samuel entered. She was tall, elegant, her face pale, her dark dress rustling as she moved. "Detective," she said coolly, her tone formal. "Mrs. Harwood," Samuel nodded. "I'll need to speak with everyone who saw Clara last." "Of course," she said, her voice tight. "But you will find no answers here. My stepdaughter was complicated." Samuel noted the slight hesitation before stepdaughter. Behind Evelyn, a younger man emerged, Henry Harwood, Clara's elder brother. He was broad-shouldered, with restless eyes and a jaw that clenched too often. "Detective Grant," Henry said stiffly. "Henry," Reed greeted. "We were just explaining, Clara was always restless," Henry interrupted. "If she left of her own accord. Without her cloak, without her shoes, without a trace?" Samuel asked. Henry's eyes flickered. "You don't know Clara." Samuel filed the remark away. A third figure appeared next, a man in his late 30s with spectacles and ink-stained fingers. "This is Dr. Simon Hale," Reed explained. "The family physician and Clara's tutor of sorts." Simon offered a polite nod. Clara was a remarkable young woman. Brilliant, but troubled. She confided in me often. "And what did she confide last?" Samuel asked. Simon hesitated. "That she feared someone in this house." The hall fell silent, the ticking of the grandfather clock suddenly loud. "Whom?" Samuel pressed. Simon adjusted his glasses. "She did not say." Evelyn's lips tightened. "Simon has a habit of exaggerating Clara's moods." "I only repeat her words," Simon replied evenly. Samuel felt the tension ripple through the room. "I'll need to see Clara's study," he said. Reed led him up the staircase, their footsteps echoing. The corridor smelled faintly of old paper and lavender, with patches of worn carpet leading to a door at the far end. The study was locked. As Reed had said. "We had to break the door this morning," Reed explained, showing the splintered wood near the handle. Inside, the room was strangely pristine. A writing desk stood near the window, papers neatly stacked, ink bottle capped. A single candle had burned low, wax pooled on the silver holder. On the floor lay a book, open to a page covered in Clara's handwriting. Samuel bent to read. "They are watching. They are always watching. Even in silence, I hear their steps." His eyes narrowed. "Windows?" he asked. Reed shook his head. "Latched from inside. No footprints outside, either." Samuel examined the fireplace. Ashes lay cold. But there were faint scraps of burned paper. "She destroyed something," Samuel murmured. He turned to the wardrobe, empty except for a dark shawl and a faint perfume. Something caught his eye, a hair ribbon, torn at one end. He pocketed it carefully. "Where is Mr. Harwood, the father?" Samuel asked. Reed's expression shifted. "Bedridden. Ill. Hasn't left his chambers in weeks." "I'll see him later," Samuel said. "For now, I want to speak with the servants." The staff gathered in the kitchen, their faces pale in the lamplight. Mrs. Pratt, the housekeeper, wrung her hands. Miss Clara was kind. But quiet, she said. Always writing, always reading. She spoke little of her family. "Did she seem afraid?" Samuel asked. Mrs. Pratt exchanged a look with the maid, Anna. Anna stepped forward. She sometimes woke screaming in the night. Said she dreamed of someone standing over her bed. Did anyone ever see such a thing? Anna shook her head. Only shadows. The cook muttered, "This house has shadows enough." Samuel sensed more was left unsaid. That night, Samuel remained in Clara's study, determined to search deeper. By candlelight, he noticed faint scratches on the floor near the bookcase. Pulling it forward, he revealed a small recess in the wall. Inside lay a leather-bound journal. He opened it carefully. Clara's handwriting filled the pages, observations, fears, fragments of poetry. One passage struck him, "The locked door is no protection. The footsteps pass through walls. I know who it is now. Though I dare not write the name." Samuel's pulse quickened. She had discovered something. And perhaps, she had paid for it. The following morning, Samuel sought out Mr. Harwood. The old man lay in a vast bed, his face sallow, his breath rattling. "Detective," he rasped. "Sir," Samuel said softly. "I need to ask about Clara." The old man's eyes flickered. "She was the best of us," he whispered. "And that is why they feared her." "Who feared her?" His hand twitched against the sheets. They, his voice broke into coughing. A nurse hurried in, shooing Samuel away. But Samuel had heard enough to know there was more hidden. He descended the stairs, deep in thought. Simon Hale was waiting in the hall. "You found something," Simon said, reading his face. "And so did you," Samuel replied. Simon hesitated. Then produced a folded note. "I found this in one of Clara's books. I did not show the family." Samuel unfolded it. It read, "If anything happens to me, search the east wing. The truth is there." Samuel's mind sharpened. The east wing had been closed for years, said to be under renovation. He asked Reed to accompany him. Together they pried open the locked doors, the hinges groaning. Dust thickened the air, cobwebs draped the ceiling. "Charming," Reed muttered. Samuel moved cautiously, lantern raised. At the end of the corridor, they found a door bolted from outside. Samuel unlatched it slowly. The room inside was bare, except for chains bolted to the wall. Reed swore under his breath. Samuel examined the chains. They were recently used. "This isn't a renovation," Samuel said grimly. "This was a prison." He spotted something glinting on the floor, a small brooch, delicate and familiar. "Clara's," Reed whispered. Samuel pocketed it. His stomach twisted. Someone had kept her here. But why? And where was she now? Back in the hall, Henry Harwood confronted them. "You had no right to search the East Wing," Henry snapped. "We had every right," Samuel replied. "Tell me, Henry, what do you know of that room?" Henry's face darkened. "Nothing." "You lie badly," Samuel said. Henry's fists clenched. Clara was unstable. She needed restraint. Reed stepped forward angrily. But Samuel raised a hand. "So you admit she was kept there?" Henry's jaw tightened. "For her own safety." Samuel's eyes narrowed. "Or for yours?" That night, Samuel hardly slept. Clara's journal burned in his mind. The footsteps passed through walls. "I know who it is now." He rose before dawn and returned to the study. There, by faint light, he inspected the fireplace again. This time, he pressed along the stones. One shifted slightly beneath his hand. He pushed, and a panel slid open. A narrow passage yawned behind the wall. His breath caught. Lantern in hand, Samuel entered. The passage was damp, the stone walls close. Cobwebs brushed his face as he moved carefully. The tunnel twisted, descending into darkness. After minutes of walking, he heard something, faint breathing. He froze, straining his ears. "Hello," he whispered. A weak voice answered. "Help me," his pulse thundered. "Clara." He quickened his steps. And there she was, Clara Harwood, pale and thin, chained to the wall. Her eyes widened in shock and relief. "You found me," she whispered, tears streaking her cheeks. Samuel knelt, unlocking the chains with tools from his coat. "Who did this to you?" he asked urgently. Her lips trembled. "Henry. And Evelyn. They said I knew too much." "Knew what?" She clutched his sleeve. "Father's illness, it isn't natural. They are poisoning him." Samuel's heart lurched. "You're certain?" "I saw the vials. In Evelyn's chamber. They plan to take everything when he dies." Samuel helped her stand, her body frail. "We must leave this place," he said firmly. But behind them, footsteps echoed in the tunnel. Samuel turned sharply, lantern raised. Henry's shadow loomed. "You shouldn't have found her," Henry growled. He lunged. Samuel met him head-on, the lantern swinging. The glass shattered, plunging them into half-darkness. The struggle was brutal, fists striking stone and flesh. Clara screamed, pressing against the wall. Samuel wrestled Henry, forcing him down. "It's over," Samuel hissed. Reed's voice rang from the passage. "Grant. Hold him." Reed and two constables surged in, hauling Henry back in irons. Henry spat curses, his eyes wild. "You'll never prove anything." "Clara already has," Samuel said coldly. Back in the main house, Evelyn tried to flee. But she was caught swiftly. In her chambers, they found the vials Clara had spoken of, laced with arsenic. Mr. Harwood, when told, wept bitterly, clutching his daughter's hand. "I knew you would save her," he whispered to Samuel. Clara leaned weakly against her father, her eyes glistening. The household, once brimming with secrets, now echoed with revelations. Henry and Evelyn were taken away in shackles, their ambitions undone. The servants whispered of justice, of long-dreaded truths brought to light. And Simon Hale, watching silently, allowed himself a quiet sigh of relief. In the days that followed, Clara recovered slowly. Samuel visited often, ensuring her safety and well-being. One afternoon, she asked softly, "Would you have searched, had it been anyone else?" Samuel met her gaze. "Yes. But I'm glad it was you." She smiled faintly, a spark of resilience returning to her eyes. The storm that had once gripped Hawthorne House had passed, though its shadows lingered. For mysteries, once born in old walls, never truly died. Samuel knew this as he packed his coat and prepared to leave Windermere. The rain had ceased, the village lay quiet. But the echoes of Clara's words haunted him. "They are watching." He glanced back once at Hawthorne House, its windows dark, its secrets now bared. Yet deep down, Samuel wondered how many more shadows still lingered in those halls. He left with no answer, only the certainty that the Harwood tale was far from ordinary. For the vanishing of Clara Harwood had revealed more than a crime. It had unveiled greed, betrayal, and the thin line between family and foe. And for Samuel Grant, detective of quiet persistence, it was another scar etched into memory. As his carriage rolled away, the sky broke into fragile sunlight. The storm was over, for now. But the mystery of human hearts, Samuel knew, was endless. And perhaps that was the greatest puzzle of all.